Hello, Kinhaven people. So I got back from Vermont last night, had a good night's sleep, summer of sleep, and then I got up this morning, got a haircut, did some laundry, and now here I am in my living room, and I'm gonna go through our daily routine so that I can stay in shape and also so I don't forget all the stuff we did. I think I always forget pretty quickly, like everything we do, and so I'm gonna try before we get very far from Kinhaven to remember mostly what we did for our morning routine. I've got my tea here, so I've got a little Earl Grey tea, just so I have something to keep me hydrated. I think a couple things when I'm doing it by myself, I've got to remember to take breaks. So we'll see if I can do that. And the other thing I often do is, because we're not feeling time as an ensemble, I usually use a metronome just to keep myself honest with time. I'm gonna start off with 6 notes here. I've oiled my valves already because we know that oiling your valves feels good. I'm gonna do a little stretching here, make sure that my vibration is working a little bit, like trying to find that sweet spot where things are vibrating, just checking it out today. Air is working okay, check that out. See if you got any extra tension, that you need to get rid of, all that kind of good stuff. And then let's do some 6 notes. Classically, this is, a Caruso exercise, but I've sort of learned it through different people. Dominic DeRoss taught me a version that he knows. I've heard Carolyn Wall talk about how she thinks about 6 notes. Lori Frink talked about 6 notes. And here's how I think about 6 notes. There are 4 classic rules. You're supposed to tap your foot. You're supposed to keep a steady breath. Yes, makes sense. The 3rd rule is keep the set, which means you're sort of like keeping it as an isometric exercise. And that's supposed to gently tone and strengthen our muscles here, right? And the 4th rule kind of helps along with that. Classically, it was like breathe through the nose because you want to minimize any movement. Keep the set and don't even move the corners of your mouth. I'm going to be honest, I don't do that anymore. I did that for a while, and maybe it was useful during a certain period of time. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, except for me, what was a bad thing was that I started forgetting how to breathe through the corners. And so I started noticing I was nose breathing all the time in a gig situation. I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. So I went back and I sort of let go of that rule. So here are Paul's 4 guidelines. I'm going to read them to you and see what you think. So guideline number 1, tap your foot and physicalize the feeling of time. The primary purpose of this exercise is to practice coordinating the ignition of breath into sound. Stay curious about finding the sweet spot of vibration. Notice the exact moment the note speaks when breath becomes vibration. Use time as a tool to help you coordinate all of this, to coordinate your entire body, your foot, your breath, your fingers, your chops, your tongue, your mind, all of that during this meditation. The suggested tempo for this could be quarter note equals 60, that's sort of classic, or we tend to do it a little faster. I've been doing quarter note equals 76 today, which I think is close to what we did this summer. Guideline number 2, keep a steady, smooth breath always, right? That makes sense. That's the same as the classic rule. Prepare your breath just like a violinist prepares to play with their bow. So you always want to be feeding steady air through the lips in a musical way. Guideline number 3, classically this exercise is isometric. That means we want to keep the setup here, right? We don't want to put our trumpet up and down a lot. It's like an isometric exercise. This is not an isometric exercise. This, holding the barbell, imaginary barbell, and holding it, that's isometric, right? Because I'm trying to hold form. So holding form will help gently strengthen and tone your chops, and that is a benefit of doing this exercise isometrically. You don't have to, but I do think it's a good idea so long as your chops aren't too tired. But just be mindful that overusing this exercise or playing it on tired chops, it's going to produce negative results. So be careful about that. The recommended dose is maybe once or twice a day to do this exercise. And always remember to rest, go get that cup of tea, go do something for a couple minutes before you come back and play the next part of your warm-up. Tell a joke, All right, set a timer for 2 minutes and come back. That works pretty well for me. Rule number 4, this is my own rule, but I think it's the whole point of a routine. You always want to stay curious and creative during your routine, during your warm-up. And you want to explore a lot of gentle variations, right? You don't want to get stuck in one way of doing things. So learn to listen to your chops, right? That's an important part of this. Like, notice them, like take care of them, talk to them, let them have a conversation with you. You'll learn that way. And you always want to be mindful about what particular exercise or what particular variation or dosage amount of an exercise is going to benefit you the most on any given day. So that is my version of 6 notes for now. Please, if you play along with this video, that's great. Just make sure you do it a little differently every time. You know, don't get stuck in sort of the way that I did it today. You know, make it your own every single time you do this video. All right. Whew. Vibration working. Okay, balance point working. Oh, okay, here we go. Two, three. Dun, dun, two. Okay, a little mini break in a second set. Let's see, I might do some lip bends, I think. 1, 2, 3. Two, three. I'm always just noticing my chops. 1, 2. Two. Okay, 6 notes. So today, like, I noticed my chops are actually feeling decent today because I didn't play yesterday very much. I had a little bit of time off. I don't know how your chops are feeling depending on the day or, you know, when you're watching this video. Feeling a little bit of tension, I think, because I'm recording this. I don't normally record my warm-up, my routine. You know, I'm going to do one more set because I kind of like this Schlossberg-esque variation on 6 notes, which goes like this. I'm going to start on G instead of F sharp. You could make it 7 notes if you want. Always physicalize the time somewhere. Just noticing when notes speak and when they don't. All right, it is now time for my tea break, and I'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we will be doing a little bit of spider stamp. All right, it's time to do some spider stamp. Got my metronome here. I'm about 76. And here we go. Just trying to blow through, flow through every note. Here we go. you go. Some spider stamp for your day. Okay. Flowstones. A little bit of Flowstones. Noodle time. Kinhaven noodles are made fresh daily. You know we always start with the hand wiggle. Here it goes. Let's see. I'm going to do no metronome on this one. We'll just kind of feel the time. 1, 2, 3. Little hand wiggle for you. And moving right along into spaghetti after I sort of take a moment and just notice my chops. See how they're doing, see how lugubrious our connections between notes are going today. Check out your sweet spot and vibration. All right, here we go. Stretch those noodles out, a spaghetti-sized noodle with a really nice olive oil sheen on it. Here we go, spaghetti noodles. 1, 2, 3. Hope I did that one right. All right. And then we'll go to the rarely spotted reverse Western noodle. Yeah, can't believe I still did that. All right, here we go. Always hear it in your head first if you can. Da, da, dee, Even if you test it out and you were wrong, at least you know, right, whether you did it right or not. And I think this is how people like me that don't have perfect pitch slowly develop a little bit of pitch memory around this, because I can sort of remember these from day to day. All right, I think that was right. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, ready. Feel free to take extra breaths if you need to when you do this exercise. No need to try to survive it all in one breath, although that's something you could try. Let's move it right along. I'm going to do a little bit of Ronan's Ramen. Here we go. Yes, okay. 1, 2, ready. Oh, I totally messed that one up somehow. But that was my best attempt. Ronan, you got to write it down, man. I can't quite remember it. Let's see. And I'm going to, if you want to do an extra noodle right now, please go ahead. I think I might have a little bit of visuti noodles for dessert. You're welcome to join me or not. Here we go. What? I always mess up the end of noodles, but I guess, you know, noodles always get a little messy. So there we go. That is some Kinhaven noodles, at least the best I can do for you today. They do get made fresh daily, so come back again tomorrow if you didn't like today's batch. All right, let's see. What's next on our list? Let's do some Flexus, Lori Frink Flexus. We're going to use the metronome just because the wiggles can get a little wiggly, and keep it sort of steady tempo in case I get off. So here's our tempo. That seems to work, 76. I'm going to start down low today. I know sometimes we started in different places, but I'm going to start down low. And I'm just going to flow one right after the other. Here I go. 1, 2, 3. Da dee dee da da dee dee da. 1, 2, 3. Okay, a little messy for me. Da dee dee da dee da da da. 1, 2, ready? You know, one thing I'm noticing doing this alone at home is that I'm almost always with the whole group taking a breath somewhere in the middle. So I'm just giving myself permission right now to take a breath and leave stuff out, you know, if I need to leave some notes out. But I'll keep the pattern going so we can play together. Oh boy. 1, 2. And of course, if you want, you can always add some extra levels if you like. I'm done for the day, so I'm gonna stop there. Let's see. What do we have left? So I'm gonna talk you through seconds, which is the exercise that we did a few times. We sort of split up and went on our own separate ways. I'm gonna go ahead and play seconds for myself right now, just so you can sort of get this exercise. The point of it is to try to help focus our aperture in sort of this very nice subtle way. And so we're searching for sort of where our comfort zone ends, right? Like where we start to airball upstairs. And sometimes upstairs might be further down than you think. The first time I did this exercise, I airballed here from C to D. Like that. And that was where I stopped for the day. So be really honest with yourself and don't force, because if you force a little bit, you can absolutely force the note to speak, but you really want to listen to your chops and see if you actually like don't overblow, like, and just, you know, like you don't want to have like a fire hydrant of air. You want to have like a thin stream of air, right? So if you have just the right amount of air to play these notes, can your chops relax into it and stay firm and stay steady here? So here is my seconds. Here I go. Let's see. A little metronome. Rush the chops, keep the set. Maybe you do breathe through the nose on this one. You could. Relax the chops. 1, 2. Okay, so that was supposed to be an A and it wasn't. Yeah, so, okay, I'm gonna give myself one more shot at that, okay, for the day. And that was my second shot, and it kind of worked, but not really, right? It was kind of a split-ah. So, okay, so I'm just gonna like stop for the day, and that's where, for right now, even though my chops feel pretty good today, that's sort of where I ended with that, because I wanna just sort of learn to, like, don't force, right? Don't force. So, and over time, we're gonna learn how to get those high notes to come out with just the right amount of support here and a nice thin stream of air. So that's my seconds.